women will notice that there's these natural levels of resistance in men. They have their excuse, or many excuses, right? Yell some of them out. What are some of the excuses guys have? They're not ready. Too much going on at work. What else? Resistance, fear of commitment, jackass. You don't want to say the obvious? Jackass? We don't have to psychologize the whole thing. Jackass, right? Hi, I'm Christian Carter, and welcome to my program From Casual to Committed. On one end, there's meeting and just knowing someone, and maybe you kind of know some things, and there's a persona tied up in there, and there's some stuff you really don't know about someone. On the other end of the spectrum, there's getting to know someone, their true self, and having this unconditional type of love, right? So how do you get between the two? How do you bridge that gap? My idea in this whole program is that there's some real steps that you can take. There's a way that you need to learn to bridge that gap that will really help you and a man both get there. So we'll talk about how we become more committed, the natural ways that we become more committed, and really importantly, I think, the natural ways that we create resistance for ourselves and other people in commitment. So let's talk about really in depth some specific examples of how men see dating, how men see relationships, and then maybe some reality about it. And then we'll contrast that with how women see relationships, how women see dating, and then maybe some reality about that. So there's a process to growth. There's a process to learning, and there's a process to mastery of anything. Hint, hint, there's a process to commitment. I think it's really important that we think about how that process works for the other sex, how it works for men if you're a woman, and vice versa. So what I'm going to do is actually show you kind of graphically how this works and show you some of the states that I see. And what I'm going to show you is really a general model, and I think it's really important if you start to understand those things, you're going to know where you're going. You're going to be able to have some way to say, what's going on here? And you'll see how to make men feel attraction and be involved in the commitment process and get you to commit to them. And then you own this process because you get it. You're working with it. It's yours. So what is this natural thing? And how does attraction play into it? Those are some of the big things that we're going to talk about today. Her name is Catherine Scott. She's a dating and relationship coach, and she coaches people all around the world in 16 different countries right now. Has a fantastic, successful business transforming people's love lives. And so she has a lot of practical experience in the business world that she's done a really interesting job as a woman translating into how can that work and make love a little simpler in your life too.
As a dating and relationship coach, people come to me all the time and they say, do you think that any two people can be happy in a relationship? And I say, absolutely, if and only if 3 elements are present. Number 1, mutual respect. So ask yourself the question, do I respect this man so much that I'd like all of my children to be just like him? This is usually where women run screaming, oh my God, no. So I do a lot of coaching with people prior to speed dating events, and they say, you know, this is amazing because I can figure out in 4 or 5 minutes if this is the right person, but you have to know how to ask the questions. So let me give you an example.
So my next guest, his name's Dr. Paul Dobransky, and he's not only an inventor and a scientist in his own right, but also a trained psychiatrist.
How would you like to know how to permanently cheat-proof your dating and relationships?
Dr. Paul has some very unique and powerful ideas and systems that he's put together that are really rooted in real science.
How would you like to know exactly scientifically what a lie is, or the ability to spot a liar?
And he has a fantastic take on making those really approachable.
Would you like to have a method that can absolutely identify within 5 minutes of meeting whether a man will ever be able to commit to you or to anybody? Okay, all right, we've hit on something. One thing that I always tell clients and patients is I really do believe there's a solution to every problem. And part of why is going to have to do with what I'm going to teach you about boundaries in a little bit.
It's for you to learn, for you to start working with this and become more aware. This is your process. You're learning here. You're going to know a lot more when you step out this door after watching this program. That's great. And what do men have to teach you?
You know, I didn't get to that.
Yeah. Men don't really have anything to teach you, obviously. Yeah.